This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before.
The Ramble with Alex Bennett, tonight at 10:30 Eastern on GabNet.
Now more than ever, it's a breeze to listen to all that GabNet has to offer. Just go to gabnet.net, and along the top of our easy-to-use webpage are a series of links to all the services that carry our latest offerings. Click on YouTube, Facebook, and Vimeo, and you'll be taken to video of Alex Bennett's Ramble. Tap on TuneIn, and you'll go to our 24/7 feed of all our programs, plus a real-time stream when our shows are live. For those of you who have a Roku device, click and you'll be taken to a page that will install our GabNet app, so you can enjoy our channel, which is rich with features that go well beyond our daily programs. Then, for archives of all our recent shows, press the Spotify, Pandora, or Stitcher tabs. Finally, Alex Bennett can be heard via the iHeart button. But if you're not at your computer, just download the app for any of these services and you'll find us there, mobile. Of course, all GabNet shows are on iTunes. With all these options, you have no excuse not to listen to GabNet, unless you'd rather listen to one of those millions of other people who have podcasts, in which case you can blow me.
Jack Bishop's Intersection, tonight at midnight Eastern on GabNet.
Hey sports fans, GabNet has a sports show. This, up until now, has been GabNet's best kept secret. But not anymore, damn it. Yes, we have a sports show on Wednesdays at 9:30 Eastern. It's called The Arena, and it's with the franchise MC, whatever that means. Boy, does this guy know his sports. And you're going to enjoy hearing him talk about it all. It's a whole different way of doing a sports show. It's intelligent, it's insightful, and it's just plain fun. It's the franchise MC, whatever that means, with The Arena, Wednesdays at 9:30 Eastern, right here on GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
What happens when you combine the largest broadcaster in America with a puny, insignificant podcaster? You get the huge platform of iHeartRadio and Alex Bennett's Ramble. Yes, now the Ramble is being carried on iHeartRadio as one of thousands of podcasts they make available. Now the big question is, how do we navigate this clutter? The answer is you. Go to iHeartRadio.com, then to their podcast section and search for Alex Bennett's Ramble. Once you've found it, make it a favorite. If enough of you do it, we could make that 15-year-old girl with her makeup tips step aside for the new king of podcasting. Okay, who am I kidding? She's about 2 million subscribers ahead of us, but it will help to put us on the map. The Ramble and iHeartRadio. Proof that Alex isn't good enough to be on one of their radio stations, but they are desperate enough to feature the Alex Bennett's Ramble podcast. A match made in broadcasting heaven. The Ramble from GabNet. Talk like iHeart and you have never heard before.
Hi everybody, this is Alex Bennett, and I've had a long and interesting trip. It's called life. And for years, people have demanded that I write a book about it, and while I've been a writer, my main talent has always been that of a broadcaster. Over a year ago, I decided not to write the book, but using my best skill, I decided to tell it. It's called Life in the Passing Lane, and I described it as an audio biography. It's presented in 30-minute chapters, so it's easy to binge listen. And you can access it on the GabNet page by clicking on Life in the Passing Lane and going to a page with every single episode, plus some extras. If you want to access it on your mobile device, that's easy too. It's on iTunes. It's Life in the Passing Lane, an audio biography by me. I'm Alex Bennett.
This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey,
Live from Harlem in New York City, it's the Ramble with me. I'm Alex, and we'll be going until midnight tonight. There he is, Toothless Lautrec. Or Toothless Lautrec. What?
No kidding.
Okay, what happened now? Before you lost all the teeth on the bottom, right?
Right. And I had a partial up on top.
Yeah.
And I had the 2 front teeth.
Yeah.
Plus some teeth on the side. And on Saturday, I was eating something soft, and I looked down, and there's the tooth in the food.
You know something? People don't realize this. It isn't hard food that extracts teeth from your mouth. It's soft food. Somebody once said if you wanted to pull out a loose tooth or something, just eat sourdough French bread.
Well, that'll do it.
Because it has a suction to it, you know?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So why did your tooth fall out? Was it just ready to go? I mean, had your dentist predicted this?
No. That's what gets me infuriated. I had all this work done, and I thought I was all done, and I finally got used to the dentures, and I got used to the partial, and then I'm eating, and the tooth just breaks off. It left the root in there.
Yeah, wow.
So now I got to go on the 5th and have the root taken out.
Well, I have some tooth problems, but I have a tooth that's it's sensitive, but it doesn't hurt.
Right.
And it's just sensitive, but doesn't hurt. I don't know what it is. You know, it cold doesn't bother it, heat, it doesn't bother it, nothing. It's sensitive. If I bite down on it, sometimes I'll feel it. Other times I don't. So I don't know what it is. It could just be something like it needs a good cleaning or something, you know. But
could be.
Yeah. But I just hate to go to the dentist. You know why I hate to go to the dentist? It's not sitting there for hours while they do whatever construction job they're doing at the moment, right? Because it's really, I'm at this point worried about the cost. You know? Yeah,
no kidding, right?
Because it used to be you went to the dentist, he was the cheapest person you went to. You know.
And they took care of everything. The dentist would pull the teeth. The dentist would fix the teeth. Now you got to go to somebody I got to go to a separate dentist to get the root taken out.
Yeah, well, my dentist does everything now. But I had a dentist who didn't do anything. I mean, if I needed a root canal, she sent me to the endodontist. And if I needed something else, she sent me somewhere. If I needed an implant, she sent me to the implant doctor. My doctor does it all. My new dentist. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he'll pull it, put in the implant, do whatever, you know. But I have like 3 implants in my mouth, and I thought about it, and that's about $15,000 worth of work right there.
Wow.
You know?
Wow, that's too much.
So nothing's cheap anymore. You know, I mean, we do have some kind of insurance, but it doesn't take care of this. This is the thing that I have been yelling about for years. We always talk about universal health care, right? We should all have universal health care. No, single payer, right? What about dental? Look at you.
They view that as secondary.
Here's why I feel dental is important. Number one, it does affect your health. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
It does affect your health. And secondly, just look at me. Just smile with that tooth, okay? All right. And now you're applying for a job.
Right.
Who's going to hire you with that tooth missing?
Right.
If you can't, if that's why we should take care of dental. That it's far too much. It costs far too much, and most people can't afford it. It's out of the reach of most people. I'm lucky. I have enough money I can get implants. Okay, I don't like to pay for them because maybe the insurance pays for $1,500 and I got to pay the rest. All right.
Right.
But I have it. Okay, and I'll do it if it's this tooth. It'll show. People notice it if I smile too much. So I want to put an implant in there. It's way in the back. It was my last tooth. Fuck it.
Right.
You know. But all I'm saying is we need universal dental care because it's very important. It's part of our health.
Right. No, it should go hand in hand with medical.
Yeah, yeah. But we don't take care of that. So
No, we don't.
And I think the reason we don't take care of it is we go back to the 50s when I go in to fill a cavity or something, it was like $10 a surface. That's how they did it. May I walk out of there with a new filling and it cost me $20. Which,
Right.
Granted, in 1950 was a lot more than it is now, but it still was a lot cheaper than it is now. Because if I get it tooth filled, it's about $300, $350, something like that.
Is that right?
Sure, and it should be taken care of.
Right.
Especially, Marjorie was mentioning something. She said, for seniors, they should do everything for seniors. To begin with,
Right, I agree.
To begin with, when it's tax time, we shouldn't have to pay taxes.
We shouldn't even have to file.
Yeah, over a certain age, we shouldn't have to pay taxes.
Right.
Hell, my union, after a certain age, I don't have to pay dues. Is
that right?
Yeah. I don't think after 65, maybe 75, you're considered a senior performer, and they don't charge you for your dues.
I'll have to find out about that.
Yeah. You're still a member of the union, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you should find out about it.
Yeah, I should. Because right now I'm paying dues for nothing.
Well, you're paying dues for nothing, yeah. Yeah, well, I paid dues for years, even when I wasn't doing any union work.
Right.
Because I believed in the union. I believed
me too.
And so I wanted to support it. My support was I always was very proud of being a member until recently when they did this whole thing about fucking up our
Health insurance.
Health insurance. And then I just went,
Right.
They're pretty terrible, But anyway, so and every time I see a performer, they go like, such and such an actor just hit 102 years old. And you go, oh, that's wonderful. Probably doesn't have any health insurance because of our goddamn union.
Right. Right.
So, the plan we used to have was like about $2,000 a year, and it was a supplement to our Medicare, and it was pretty damn good. I mean, it got me through my cancer thing, and I maybe had to put out a couple of $100 here and there.
Right.
But it was terrific, and the dental was $2,500 a year. And it was all within that 2,000 for both Marjorie and I.
Right.
And if we had children, it would cover them too for that 2,000.
Right.
So I mean, they stopped covering us, and we're, of course, there's a big legal action against the union for what they did, but nevertheless, we're back to paying like Marjorie's company is paying for it for the next 2 years.
Right. Tell me that.
We're paying between us about $600 a month for supplemental insurance.
Right.
It shouldn't be.
Right,
Hey,
and then you still got to pay co-pays and whatnot.
hey, old friend, you're 82 years old. Don't worry about a thing. Your government's taking care of you.
Yeah,
Huh?
right.
Huh?
It should be.
It should be over 75, over 70, something like that. Hey, no more taxes and we'll take care of you. Okay?
Right.
You've been paying in all these years. You've been paying those big amounts of money. Forget it,
Right.
You've done your share. And I have.
Yes.
I've done my share. I paid my fair share. Probably more than you did. At one point I was making so much money that my tax bill was pretty large every year. So I mean, I paid, but here I am. I'm left out to dry by the government. So, and you should.
So what are you gonna do?
You shouldn't have to worry about that tooth. That tooth should be taken care of.
Hopefully it is.
Yeah.
So far, all the work has been taken care of.
Yeah. But nevertheless, because you have the Advantage insurance as your
Right.
supplement, it's not taking care of everything because it probably doesn't cover implants.
No,
Which-
that's why I had to get dentures.
Yeah, where if you had implants right now, they put in like for you 2 implants,
Right.
Right.
2 or 3.
2 or 3, and then they put in the denture, and it would
Right.
be in there permanently. Be like your
Right.
I mean, I don't know I know which teeth of mine are the implants, but quite frankly, I wouldn't know if I didn't pay attention. You know?
Right. Right.
So, I mean, that should be what they do. You shouldn't have to have dentures. Dentures is the
Right.
old technology. And you can still do the implants if you want to, you know, at some point.
Right.
When you get that $1,000 million contract with Warner Brothers
Right. Right. Sure.
for the next Batman movie or something.
Right.
You know.
And they'll probably make another Batman movie.
What?
I'm sure they'll make another Batman movie.
Oh, the latest Batman movie I actually liked a lot.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, Marjorie doesn't like it, but didn't like the last third of it. I happen to like it. I thought it was really terrific. It's more getting back to Batman as the world's greatest detective.
Oh, okay.
You know, and there's not a lot of action in this film. There's a lot of talking. There's a lot of, you know, hey, this leads you to that, leads you to that, leads you to that. You know, it's a puzzle box.
Okay.
And it's very good. They've done away with a lot of the, you know, he for a short time in this film he's got the Batmobile, and it's just another car that's just all revved up.
Right.
You know?
Right. It's all souped up.
Yeah. But and he falls in love with Catwoman, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which happened in the comics, I understand. They had a kid together in the comics.
Is that right?
Yeah. So anyway, but I like the new one. But they'll keep making Batman but the trouble is they keep making it in different forms, you know, and it changes every time. The tone of it really changes. And Christopher Nolan did pretty good with the 3 Batman pictures that he did. But then they went on with what's his name, Matt Damon's friend. You know, the guy.
Oh.
Huh?
Oh, what's his name?
Yeah, what's his name? That's how much I care about him as an actor. But
Right.
he was terrible as Batman, and the whole suit got so overdone and everything, you know. And this picture just kind of strips all that away. And,
Okay.
and goes back to basically the 1930s Batman.
Oh, really?
In present day, but the 1930s style Batman from the comic
Right.
books. We're
Right. Like you said, he's more of a detective,
more of a detective. Yeah.
which is what he was in the beginning.
Right. And the thing I always liked about Batman was he was just like you and I. He just worked out a lot.
Right.
You know.
Right. And he had billions of dollars.
Yeah. And he could get all those cool gadgets. You know.
Right. He could have them made up.
But you went from the Michael Keaton Batman to the Batman with the Christopher Nolan did, to the Batman that Ben Affleck did. Okay.
Oh, he's horrible.
He's horrible. And
Horrible.
You know, and so they keep doing them over and over and over again. And in between on television, there was the Gotham show with Batman as a young boy. It's the young Bruce Wayne and the whole.
Oh, really? What channel was that on?
That was Fox. It was on for 5. It was on for 5 seasons.
I didn't see it at all.
Great show, really good show.
I know they did a Batwoman on Fox.
Well,
no, CW.
CW did Batwoman. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's still on. But you know, I just feel that you know, they should get all their bats together. You know, but this
Get all their bats in a row.
This latest one, I think, did a really good job of it. The only
Well,
thing,
that's the deal with the comic book, Alex. They can just reboot it any way they want.
yeah. But the thing I like best, hated worst about this movie was all these movies feel they have to end with some big deal. You know, some last big blowout scene with all the effects and the you know, fighting something and trying to
Right. Who's the villain, Alex? Who's the villain in the Batman?
The villain in this one is Riddler.
Riddler.
Yeah.
Not Jim Carrey's Riddler.
And what's interesting is they have Penguin, but he's played by Colin Farrell, who is absolutely unrecognizable.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The makeup is that good. He's unrecognizable.
Right.
And he does a Brooklyn accent instead of the Irish accent he was born with. And I mean, I just think it's a very good movie. You know, it's a very good movie.
I'll have to see it.
And one of the bad guys is John Turturro. Is a very good actor. They pulled out the stops on this one. I thought it was really good. I thought,
oh, cool,
and very dark. It's always raining and nighttime and.
Right, and gloomy.
Well, in most of these movies, the sun never rises on Gotham. It's terrible. Well,
right.
You know something? What you should do with that tooth right now, while you got the chance, is learn to play the banjo.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Yeah, and then go, you look purty. You got a purty face.
You got a purty mouth.
Yeah, but so I could ask, what are you doing? But the thing is, you're probably spending most of your time with the dentist.
Right.
Yeah.
That's kind of my whole life. Yeah, I mean, this has been going on for 5 months now.
Yeah. Well, you know what happened? Also, one other thing they've done away with, I used to love going to the dentist. Why did I love going to the dentist? Because the first thing you'd do is put a mask on my face and juice me up with the gas.
Oh, right.
Right. And there was a point at which every dentist was using gas because people would come to them just for the gas. So I knew when I went to the dentist, he'd have to do a root canal or whatever, or he'd have to do whatever he had to do. But he just give me the gas and he could pull every tooth out of my mouth and I wouldn't care.
Yeah, but the gas kind of made me sick.
Well, if they turn it up too much, it'll make you sick. If they do it just right, and I always tell them, turn it down. I don't want it. It's too high. It's right. It's making me uncomfortable, and they turn it down. And
I felt like I was flipping over backwards in the chair.
Yeah, but now I go to a dentist and I go, well, you give me gas, and they go, well, we don't believe in it, but it'll be $150 if you want it. Right.
Now it's Novocaine.
I had my tooth pulled at one point, and they charged me $150 for the gas. I said, I want the gas. It's just going to make me feel better if you do the gas. And they don't do gas anymore. In the old days, I had a dentist that didn't even charge you for the gas.
Right. I had that.
It's that cheap. It's not like this very expensive thing. And I would go to my dentist. The first dentist I ever went to, they gave me gas. Said, "You want some gas? Want me to get you high?" And I go, "Yeah, here." And he put the gas on me, and then he went to work on my teeth. And I went,
right.
This is fine. This is a good reason to go to the dentist.
Right.
But all of a sudden, they don't do it anymore, and you're back to just the Novocaine. And what's terrible about it is that what the gas did was it compressed time, so that you know what I'm saying. In other words,
yes, I do know what you're saying.
You were fully awake, but somehow time was kind of compressed, and before you knew it, he was through.
Right.
You weren't out or anything, but it was it distorted.
And once they shut it off, it was off. And once they shut it off, you weren't high anymore.
They just gradually added oxygen until you
right. Whereas the Novocaine, you can't feel your lip for the next couple of hours.
Oh, right, or years, or whatever,
Right.
But I mean, I think if they did more gas, more people would go to the dentist, and just free. What? It doesn't cost much.
No.
How much gas am I going to use? About 5 cents worth.
Right.
So stop it already. But that was a turning point where you just can't get gas anymore. Oh, we don't believe in that. It's not good for the brain cells. Hey, I'm 82. My brain cells are going anyway. Come on.
Right.
Make the ones I got left happy.
Yes, please.
Exactly. So, I mean, I never, to tell you the damn truth, I never understood why they suddenly decided gas was not a good idea.
Well, I never understood why anybody would want to be a dentist.
Well, that's the other thing I've talked about is that, all dentistry is, okay? And if you're a dentist out there listening to me right now, I'm sorry if you're bothered by this, but it's the truth. All dentists are carpenters. They're basically in carpentry and construction. And, it's like with doctors, they go, he's got this pain in his side. What could it be? Let's go through this. Doctors are surgeons, not surgeons, but are detectives.
Right. I was going to say that.
Yeah, they're detectives. So there's something to stimulate their mind. Oh, what's wrong with my patient? Oh, we got to find out. Let's do an MRI. Let's find out with this and that. With a dentist, it's, oh, he's got a cavity. Okay, we're going to drill. There's nothing they do that is detective work. A cavity's a cavity. A pain in the tooth is a pain in the tooth.
Right. Right.
Tooth needs removal, you extract it. It's the most boring profession you can think of. Outside of maybe being an accountant. It's really boring. And there's a high suicide rate among dentists.
Yes.
I
wonder why that is.
Because it's so boring. You're doing the same thing. Marjorie went in to see her dentist today, and it's no big deal. She had to do this. She had to put a crown in there. She had to do this. There's never anything like, well, we have to send you to another doctor to find out what's wrong with this.
Right.
When I came down with my cancer, he went through a process of elimination to find out if I had cancer or not. When I did, he sent me to an oncologist, and as my doctor,
they took care of it.
As my doctor said it in a note to me, they fried my prostate. And they fried my prostate, and but it got taken care of. But it was a whole process of elimination and detective work, and so it's much more interesting for a doctor than it is for a dentist. I think I blow my brains out being a dentist.
Well, also, dentists are hated, where doctors are respected.
Well, dentists are hated because they're perceived of as inflicting pain.
Right.
And the fact is, they really don't. Once you got the Novocaine in you, which is just a mild prick in your mouth.
Right.
Have you ever had a prick in your mouth? A mild prick in your mouth. Nothing hurts. I think what it is, it's annoying.
Right.
See, what's annoying about it is it's that you're there with your mouth open for an hour. Sometimes they put a little wedge in my mouth to keep it open.
Right, to keep it open.
Yeah, because, and you just, I can't, and then you got the drill. And the drill's going, and then you can hear it slow down when it hits like rock bottom.
Oh, God.
And all of that is the reason why they should be giving people gas. I had one dentist who said he loved people on gas because they were very pliable. Open your mouth wider.
Right.
You just did it. And he said it was easier to work on people who are on or high on gas than who aren't. So he liked to work with people on gas. First thing he'd do when they came in and they had to have some work done, slap that mask on your face.
Right. Right.
And it doesn't impede anything he has to do, because they're made so they go up the sides, and it's just a mask here.
Just covers your nose.
Yeah, it doesn't affect the mouth. Do all the work they want to do. Why they don't do it, I have no idea. Be easier for them. I don't know. I'd be a better patient.
Right. Right.
And because it compresses time, you don't know when an hour has gone by.
No.
So it's whatever. So anyway, so your mouth, we'll get your mouth in shape eventually.
Eventually.
Yeah. They're going to have to put another bridge up there, or what do they put in there?
They're going to put another tooth in there.
Oh, they put another tooth in there?
Right. Once they get the root out, once they take the root out, then I got to wait 3 weeks for it to heal, and then they'll put another tooth on the partial.
On the partial.
Right.
You have partials up in the top?
Right.
Oh, okay. So then they bridge it across the two of them, right?
Right.
Yes, that's what they do. Okay. Well, it's a bridge, is what they're going to give you.
Right.
Okay. So that's permanent. That's not. That's not like dentures that you take off and throw in the glass at night. Hey, listen, I just looked, and we're coming up on our time running out here. It's always
is that right?
It's always a pleasure to talk to you, my dear friend.
Always a pleasure to talk to you, Alex.
It's always just a nice piece of intelligent conversation with a man we know of as Stephen Kravitz. Thanks, Stephen.
Thanks, Alex.
Bye-bye.
Bye, folks.
This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey, all righty. Okay, hello, everybody. How are you? Are we ready to go for another night of fun and games, or phoning games? Well, we're not really phoning in. This is like Zoom. If you don't know how to get on the program, by the way, it's very simple. Very simple. You go over to gabnet.net. There's the little thing on the right-hand side of the page with the big letter Zoom. You click on that, and it'll immediately take you here. It's that simple. There's only one person. Now it's two people, but it was one person. And the one person was this gentleman, ladies and gentlemen, Charlie Wallace, who we love seeing here. Let me see here, and then we'll admit Jeff Stein as well. Okay, so that we have Jeff. Hi, Jeff. Move your camera a little bit so we can see your whole face.
Kilroy was here.
Yep.
Yeah.
How are you?
Remember Kilroy was here? Remember that old thing? They were all over the country. People would draw this little thing with a guy with his hands over what seemed to be a ledge and then his nose. And that was it. And that's what a lot of people look like when they're on Zoom. So I just thought I would mention that. How many dead today?
It was not too bad. It was only 492 dead Americans
but
today.
You know something? I'll tell you, we're really working our way towards that 1 million mark. And everything about us. What's wrong? Oh, there we go. Okay, we froze up for a second. Everything that that we have in us in America is this desire to be number one. We're number one. We're number one, and we can really get to that million death mark, folks. If the Republicans will only help us out, because they're the ones that are refusing to wear masks, and I think if they would all stop wearing their masks and breathing in each other's faces, we can make that 1 million. Okay? So don't let us down, Republicans. Meanwhile, us wokes are more than happy to not get it. Are we idiots or what when it comes to this? God damn it. I just I mean, it just drives me nuts when I see these people going, well, it's my right not to have to wear a mask. That's not the point. It's your responsibility to wear a mask. It's your American duty to wear it. It's not that you have a right to not wear a mask. Yeah, you have a right not to wear a mask. You also have the right for everybody around you to go, look at that fucker, he's not wearing a mask. Let me ask you this, Charlie. Let me ask you this, Jeff, since you're the only two people I can ask, obviously.
Okay.
Will you still wear a mask in certain situations?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
See? So, I mean, we'll wear the mask. We'll be the last 3 people left on the face of the earth alive, okay?
Yeah.
And we'll be just fine with it, folks. We'll be just fine with it, okay? Here comes Alan, okay? Here's Alan. Well, now we're up to 3 people.
Yeah.
I agree. I heard you talking about wearing a mask. I think it's selfish to not wear a mask.
Well, no, I mean, it's a patriotic duty.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If you care about your fellow Americans and you want America to be well,
I don't really see a downside to wearing a mask, and the upside's obvious.
Yeah. Did you, I mean, it is just, I just don't understand it, I really don't understand it. And everything, I'm surprised there's anybody left alive in Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
DeSantis got his way. He signed the Disney thing. They're no longer a entity of their own. So what is that going to do for Florida? They estimate $15 billion that they are going to have to raise in taxes in Florida for all the all the rest of the
everybody's property taxes or whatever tax they can tax in Florida is going to go up 25%.
Probably so.
Because Disney doesn't have to take care of its own police department anymore and its own fire.
Yeah, they got to hire. Now they got to figure out how to make a city out of this 40 square miles. Police, fire, medical, street cleaning, sewers, all that stuff. What an idiot.
Yeah. And that's a cost Disney doesn't have to bear.
No. Maybe prices will go down.
But, I still think, and I read something today, that there is a possibility they may say they're going to leave Florida.
Yeah. I hope they do.
I hope they do too.
Well, I think they at least should threaten it. If they just threaten it, they'll buckle.
Yep.
We don't need them here. What? You've got Universal Studios? Yeah, I'm not so sure. Yeah,
I heard today they have 77,000 jobs for Disney World.
77,000?
Yeah, so that all those people would leave to Colorado or wherever the heck they moved Disney World. They would move there instead.
Well,
that would be a killer.
I don't know if they could really do Disney World anywhere else unless they could find a large enough parcel of land that is just not being used. And
take Texas. Nobody cares about that.
Well, we don't want to do it in Texas because they'll be assholes about it too. But, I just think that, they have enough Disney properties around the world that they can survive. Okay?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the movie end of it too.
Well, movies and their Disney Plus is doing very well for them, and and the question is that yes, you could say yes, we'll lose money by closing down Disney World, but how much money will you not be spending when you close down Disney World? I mean, that's a very expensive operation,
absolutely,
and especially during COVID, I'm sure they were running at a loss.
They pay $750 or something like that.
And you know what the whole thing is? The whole problem is DeSantis's ego.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yep.
How dare you go against my edict?
Yep.
Yeah, well, you're an asshole. That's why we went against your edict.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean,
how many people have Netflix here?
Well, I have Netflix. Yeah.
I just got it last night. $1.99 a month on special.
$1.99 a month for how long?
I've never had it before, but I knew I couldn't pass up the deal. My roommate.
For how long? How long?
Guaranteed for a year.
$1.99. I think I'll quit it and join up again.
That's right.
Or I'll have my wife join. Better yet.
What are you paying? I don't know what the regular price is.
I'm paying almost $20 a month.
Wow.
Well, you see, to begin with,
I paid $24 for both the streaming and the DVDs.
Yeah, well, I don't have the DVDs thing, but the streaming.
Yeah, this was
I've
just
got
streaming.
I've got the 4K, 4K signal. Okay, which you pay extra for at Netflix. Nobody else does that, but Netflix does. And I get like 4 people that can use the Netflix at the same time. All right? Now they're yelling and screaming. They want to stop me from turning my password over to somebody else so they can use it too. My answer to them is, listen, assholes, I'm paying for 4 people. I'm not paying for 2. I could get it for less if I only take 2. I should, screw you. You should kiss my ass and be glad that I'm paying that much money every month. But here's what I'm doing. I'm working on cutting the cord. I have a little trepidation about it, but I'm going to do it. We may be off the air for a couple of nights while I try and get this whole thing rejiggered so that we can just use the, internet feature that I have, which is, a gigabyte up and a gigabyte down. But here's the deal. I got my latest bill from Fios. When I first joined Fios, here's the ripoff that's Fios. My Fios bill was $225 a month. Now, mind you, I have 5 boxes in this apartment, and I subscribe to all the services. All right? So that's how it got to be $225.
Mine's $180, and I have 5 boxes, but none of the services. I have Comcast cable. It's internet, a phone, and
well, whatever.
Television.
Continue, Alex. Continue.
Well, anyway, yes. Let me continue.
Sorry.
So I get a bill from them this month, and it's $296 for the month, and it keeps been going up and down lately. And it says that there was some kind of like service fee they had to adapt, and blah 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 blah, and it's for sports channels. What am I paying for fucking sports channels for? But supposedly, if you subscribe, you have to pay for the sports channels. I don't give a crap. I don't give a crap about those sports channels.
Nope, neither.
You know, and what we were arguing a couple of years back is that these cable companies are forced. Do you know that, for instance, what do you think is every channel that you have on is being paid something by the cable company to carry it? Some others maybe not. They give it to them for nothing because they just want to get the cable carriage. But what do you think? What channel do you think costs more, and you're paying for more than any other channel? Yeah, Charlie knows the answer to this one, don't you? Ready?
Lifetime channel.
Lifetime.
Really?
Most of the cable companies pay them something like $9 a month per customer.
Per prescriber? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my question is, how many here have watched Lifetime lately? I make my case. Yeah.
I don't watch sports, but yet, last year they put a $12.99 fee for sports.
Yeah.
On my.
Yeah, and I don't want sports. I'm sorry.
This is me off.
If other people want sports, let them goddamn pay for it.
Yeah.
You know, don't force me to pay for it just because I subscribe. You know, that fee was I think $7 a month. $8 a month. But I finally decided I'm gonna cut the cord. I'm saying goodbye, you know. And I'm gonna call up Fios and I'm gonna say I'm gonna cut the cord. Can you give me any kind of a deal where I'm getting exactly what I'm getting now?
Yes, they will. They'll give you like half price and yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
wow, that would be nice.
You know,
Comcast usually is willing to knock off $20 a month for a year.
They tried to give me half price for 6 months.
Oh well, that's nice.
Half price for 6 months. Oh, I want it to go back down to $225 forever. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't. You know, it'll be a lot less trouble for me to not cut the cord, but I will, because then I have to return all the boxes and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know. But as you know, if I added it all up, I'm already paying for like Netflix, Hulu, Disney, ESPN Plus, which is a package of its own. I'm paying for Paramount Plus. I'm paying for Apple TV Plus. That's about $6 a month. On top of my cable bill.
Wow.
With all those, plus what I'm going to have to pay for in like HBO Max and Showtime and all the ones that I get now as part of my package, I'm still going to come out paying less than I'm paying now. So why shouldn't I?
I just looked. It was through Comcast, the $1.99 a month. I just looked at the receipt. So
yeah, but what do you get for it? You don't get the high def. You don't get the 4K, rather.
I don't get 4K, but I don't have any 4K.
And you don't. You only get, I think, 2 people that can watch it at the same time.
That's correct.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't get the DVDs. I just get streaming.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, you know,
what do you want for $2 a month? You know.
Well, I mean, apparently they want to, you know, do that. I should just quit Netflix and then have Marjorie re-sign up for it or something at a cheaper price or something. Who knows? You know.
I don't know. I think I can have 2 people. I don't know.
I think you get 2 people.
Yeah, I didn't look at that. But if I do have 2 people, you could have my other thing. I don't care.
Brian.
Yeah, thank you. Speaking of Paramount Plus, have you seen the ads for that Godfather, the offer? I guess it's like how it's supposed to be how they made the movie and the storylines behind
It's
it.
kind of a. It's kind of a. It's kind of a. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
That's the most intelligent thing anybody said on this program in months.
I tell you, she's still on the sugar high from the trip.
I like your Facebook thing. You trying to be stealth and her dancing in the background. That's cute. The little video you posted.
But the offer looks pretty good. I know there's a lot of storylines behind the movie, so I don't know if it's supposed to be true or if they're just gonna do like a lot of these things to just sort of make up stories.
That's very
How
good.
they-
That's
how
very good.
they-
She covers her face when she coughs. Very good.
Yeah, very good. How the three Godfather 1, 2, and 3, Brian?
No, it's a series that they did, a drama series, okay, of the creation and the production of The Godfather.
Oh.
Yeah. It starts. When does it start? Do you remember?
I don't know. It's on Paramount Plus, so there you go. I want to see it really bad if it's good, and then I don't have Paramount Plus, so what am I going to do?
I got Paramount Plus, and I got it at half price for the first year, so I was paying without commercials. I was paying like $4.50 a month. So now they've raised it up to the regular price, but I'm willing to pay it because I found I watch Paramount Plus a lot. You know?
Really?
Yeah. But you know, I mean the nerve of FiOS getting me up to like $295 a month. I mean, I went to them because I was sick of Time Warner at that time, charging me like $350 a month for cable, you know. So I said to them, goodbye, I'll see you later, and I went over to FiOS. You know?
I remember you used to talk about that on the show before I was on.
Yeah. I mean, all these cable companies, you know, it's kind of like they keep raising the prices, and I think that Netflix is moaning that they lost 200,000 subscribers in the last quarter. And they're saying it's because people like me let somebody else, like a friend of ours, use my password, okay? And I'm going, well, to begin with, I'm paying you $20 a month. You can blow me, all right?
But they also said HBO Max gained customers, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing. They're complaining that that's the reason that they lost. You know, so they're going to clamp down on that. I got news for them. The reason they lost people, number one, they lost 700,000 because they turned off all the service in Russia. Okay, that's for starters. All right, that's on their national. The other thing they did was they raised their rates $2.
Yep.
How many people just said, that's it, I'm through? You know, it was okay when I could pay, you know, $12.95 or $9.95 or whatever, but now they got me up $2 more. That's it. They finally hit the point at which there was pain, you know, and quite frankly, I mean, for years I paid $14.95 a month to HBO, and now I get HBO Max as part of my package, you know. Which would be $14.95 on its own, but I always considered HBO Max to be worth it, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I was very happy with it, you know. And plus HBO, you know, there's a difference in quality between Netflix and HBO in the productions that they do.
Yep.
HBO seems to always just have a little bit better production values on everything, whereas Netflix will take anything that moves and slap on the Netflix original name on it, you know? I mean, I can't tell you how many shows I've watched that I've gotten from Britain and things like that, you know, that I watch using torrents and things like that, that have gone to gone to Netflix, and all of a sudden, they're a Netflix original? They weren't when they were on in England. You know, it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. I mean, I think they have Peaky Blinders as a Netflix original, and it's not. Never has been. You know, so Anyway, so I'm thinking of cutting the cord, and screw them.
Heard you talking about that, Alex. We did that 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We saw our the only thing we kept with FiOS was the computer stuff.
Was the internet?
Internet.
Yeah.
And we went from spending $285 a month down to, I think it's now about 75, maybe 80, 82.
But we're going to go with maybe Hulu Plus Live, which is, by the way, which for $75, you also get all three of Disney's services: Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus, all within that price. But you also get all your local channels, you get all the major cable channels, and that's just for starters. And then I'm gonna have to pay like about $100 a month for the internet. I could do it for less. I could just get their lesser speeds, but I want it so that for this it all works well. And then I just add on all the other services individually.
And I tell you, I know you're like me. You're an old movie buff.
No.
You got so many.
No.
You're not an old buff.
No.
Oh damn! I thought all the time you and I shared that love.
No. I mean, I like movies. And I have a good idea about the history of them and so on and so forth.
We shall have that trivia playoff one day.
Yeah, well, prepare to have your ass wiped.
Hey, I've had my ass wiped by better people than you.
Well, I guess so. Or rimmed, at least, But
when I get through with the intersection, you know what I do? I go in and I watch at least 2 episodes of some 1930s or 40s serial because
Love Lucy.
No, not I Love Lucy. I love you.
You're talking about serials like, Flash Gordon or Buck Rogers.
Yeah. He doesn't know anything about that young whippersnapper. Take that boy out and whip him.
Yeah.
But right now, I am watching Radar Men from the Moon for the umpteenth time.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember. That's Commando Cody, right?
Well, there were 3 different guys.
No, but the character was basically Commando Cody.
Commando Cody, yeah.
And I think it was Radar Men on the Moon that Leonard Nimoy was in.
He might be. If he is, he's got a very small part.
He plays an alien.
Well, no, that's another one.
He was typecast from the very beginning.
I think it was the first or second thing he did. He got typecast.
Yeah. But anyway. So but I'm just tired of paying this kind of money for and what am I getting? I mean, to begin with, you're forced to take all these. I've got 300, 400 channels. That's wonderful. I only watch 2 or 3 of them. Why should I just have to pay for the 2 or 3 that I do watch?
And when you're with streaming, so many of those, surprisingly enough, are free if you put up with the commercials.
Yeah, you know who I'm actually paying $11 a month to. I finally decided to get it. I get YouTube Premium, and because I watch so much YouTube that I don't want to have to put up with the commercials. Okay, because not only they run the commercials, but sometimes in the middle of something they run a commercial. And so I just said to the hell with it. So I'm paying them, and I'm happy to pay them. And I get some extras you get, but I don't know what they are. But anyway, I really I go into the bedroom late at night. I turn on YouTube, and before I know it, it's 4 o'clock in the morning because I kept going from one thing to another to another to another. It's addictive,
Also, there is one streaming channel that is old, classic. Radio programs. I've got for the first time in my life, I have almost all of the Lone Ranger radio programs and the Green Hornet.
And what are you going to do with them now that you've got them?
I listen to them.
You want to spend every single night of your life listening to every episode of The Lone Ranger.
It brings back wonderful memories. Brings back memories of turning in the super heterodyne radio from my grandma.
I had on my show in New York, I had Fred Foy came on the show along with the guy, I'm trying to remember his name because he was my boss at ABC in New York. I'm trying to remember his name now, but he was
Tell
the
them
he,
who
he,
Fred Foy was.
Well,
Because they don't know.
I was going to say, just let me finish the story first. And this guy was the voice on the Green Hornet. And I had them on together with each other. They both worked at WXYZ in Detroit, where Fran Stryker created both shows. Now, you do know that the two shows are related.
Yes.
Because why?
Well, you said they were created by...
No. Why are they related?
Why are they related? Well, I don't know, now that I think about it.
Well, let me give you the history. Are you guys ready for this? This may bore the crap out of you.
Out of hell with them.
But you do know this because you've all seen The Lone Ranger, right, people?
Yeah.
And you've all seen The Green Hornet, right, people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
The name of the Lone Ranger's real name was John Reed.
Yeah.
He had a he had a nephew by the name of
Britt Reed.
Britt Reed. Okay. Now let's go over to the Green Hornet.
Oh, that's right. The
Green Hornet's last name was what?
Reed.
And who was his father?
Britt Reed.
Britt Reed. Exactly. The Green Hornet is the Lone Ranger's
great grandnephew.
That's right. And to even make it a little more interesting, when they did the radio shows, they told me, they would take a Lone Ranger episode.
Yes.
And then they would change the script to the Green Hornet. And you had Kato and Tonto, right? You had Black Beauty, which was the Green Hornet's car, and Silver, the horse, right? Yes. And they simply would just transpose them and use the same exact scripts.
Now tell me if this was true. I heard or read somewhere that when Fran Stryker was doing all this at WXYZ, someone working with him ran a broadcast school, and they had some of the students writing scripts.
I have no idea about that. Right. But anyway, enough of that. Most people don't even know what we're talking about. Look, Charlie's getting bored already.
I listened to that stuff.
Yeah, yesterday you jinxed the garlic festival.
I jinxed the garlic festival? Why was that?
When you were talking about it, they just canceled it.
Why?
Indefinitely.
No,
they said
they ran out of garlic. What?
No, the shooting that they had 2019. They said the pandemic, and they just said they couldn't recover after that. So
there's a shortage on bullets right now.
What do you mean?
Yeah, they're canceling it, and they say indefinitely. They said there's a couple small things that they're going to continue on. They had like some small events, but the garlic festival.
Here comes Kevin. He's down there in that part of the world. We're talking, Kevin, about the cancellation of the garlic festival.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Does this mean we're going to have to pay extra to have garlic on our breath?
Nah.
Could be.
I think it's a big stink with the big stink. With the Fresno one, I have a feeling.
What do you mean?
I don't know that for sure.
Is there a Fresno garlic festival?
They started one, I want to say a few years ago.
By the way, folks, this is what our show has become. We're discussing competing garlic festivals. Go ahead.
Yeah, there you go. But it was a few years ago before the shooting. And apparently they started one out there, and Gilroy got kind of pissy about it because they're actually they don't grow a lot of garlic around here anymore. They still grow it, but it's not a lot. They process it, but they don't grow a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of it comes from the Fresno area. And they started having a festival down there, and I think people got their noses bent, and then COVID hit. Then they came back, I think, last year with a drive-through type program, and it was kind of a, it wasn't as great as it was.
Right.
People supported it, but whatever. And we were all geared up because our high school band, we're all ready to go.
Right.
Big fundraiser for us.
Yeah.
And the year of the shooting, our band director was actually there, and a couple of the kids were there when it happened. And it was literally 2 booths down. They were ducking and covering.
Wow.
And 2 of the teachers from the middle school here are the 2 teachers that were in all the pictures on the news and everything of the people running away. Those 2 people in the front were the 2 teachers from the middle school here during that shooting. And it hit a lot of people around here pretty hard, but everybody got through it and whatnot. But we were all ready to go back and start making money at the thing, and then they canceled it yesterday.
When I was a kid, here we go. When I was a boy, when I was a kid, when I was a kid, I mean, there were just as many guns in this country as there are now.
No, it's just lunatics pulling the triggers.
Wait a minute, and yet you never heard of these kind of incidents back then. Usually guns were something that gangsters used against each other. And you heard about, St. Valentine's Day Massacre, things like that. But you didn't hear about just random shootings.
Yeah.
And why, Jeff, you have your hand up.
Yeah, when I was in high school, there was a bunch of guys who were interested in guns. And they used to bring their guns to school.
In their pickup trucks.
Whatever. They would go on the subway.
In New York?
In New York.
And they
took their guns and they would bring them in. And then I don't know what the hell they did. They must have a place where they used to shoot them or something.
It wasn't a big thing to bring them into shop class and fix them. And to fix them.
Right.
But they also had mental hospitals too.
Yeah, that's true too.
And now they don't, and you see people talking to the side rail I saw last month. It's like
but still, I mean, the way in which guns have become so predominant in this society is a danger. I mean that and that when I went to school, yes, there were just as many guns around, but there weren't people shooting them everywhere.
Not the guns, it's the people.
Yes. When I was in school in San Francisco, there were kids with guns, but they were called the ROTC.
But
I mean, it was not unusual to have a gun rack in the back of your pickup truck and drive into school. The gun rack was in the back of the window, and it was parked in the parking lot, and it was still there when you got out of school and you went home.
Now, I didn't see anything like that till I got to Dallas. Not even in Houston did I see that.
Yeah, in Houston, they used to. I remember there was on Saturday nights. People, you see, they were 50 years removed from sidearms, so they could still carry sidearms, believe it or not, in Texas. And they would go into a bar, get into a fight, and start shooting up the bar. And I was often told about by our news director, a guy named Richard Dobbin. I said to him, "Boy, I just heard there were a lot of shootings in bars. Why aren't we reporting them?" He says, "That happens every weekend. That's Houston."
But that was strangely unique, even in Texas, to Houston.
Yes.
But in California, you had to display your gun if you were going to carry it. Is that not right, Alan?
You're correct, Kevin.
Yeah, and now you can't do that.
Nope.
Well, they had a great law in Texas. I loved this one. This was my favorite law of all time. You could not carry a gun in a car unless you were transporting it from one place to another.
Oh, really?
That was the way the law read, Kevin.
Does a car wash count?
If you have a gun in your car, well, I'm taking it home. We have a gun in your car. Well, I'm taking it to work.
And Alex, you couldn't carry it in the passenger compartment. If you had a sedan or hardtop, you had to carry it in the trunk.
In the trunk? Oh, okay. Yeah.
California's like that now.
Yeah.
It needs to be in a locked container, unloaded, separate from ammo.
In the trunk.
Or if you don't have a trunk somewhere out of the
in the trunk along with the dead body, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, about 20 years ago, Texas tried to join civilization, and they actually
how's that working for you?
hey, we got an attorney general down here that's fighting it tooth and nail, but they passed a gun law that you had to have a license to carry a gun, a concealed carry license. You had to take so many hours of safety shooting classes. You had to pass a test. Here, 2 years ago, they did away with all of that. You can conceal carry. You don't need a license. You don't need to have any kind of background check. You don't have any kind of testing. You can go, and you can literally walk into any pawn shop and buy a gun with no identification. We don't give a shit who you shoot as long as you don't.
Why does the pawn shop have to have identification?
Well, they used to require you show
You didn't get that. You didn't get that.
Got it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to let it lay there on
Well,
the floor.
don't take it seriously. Just let it lie there.
Yeah.
You know. You said you walked into a pawn. What was the term he used? Walked into a pawn shop without a license, and I said, pawn shops didn't have to have
identification.
Identification didn't have to have. Forget it. We'll go on to our next thing here. Did you see where Barack Obama?
Who?
Barack Obama. You remember him? He had that
Hawaiian
series. He had that
president,
series on Netflix. Remember him?
That's...
Yeah. Anyway, Thursday called for greater regulatory oversight of the country's social media giants, saying their power to curate the information that people consume has turbocharged political polarization and threatened the pillars of democracy across the globe. Anybody disagree with that?
I don't disagree with it. It's easy to fix. Get a VPN.
Okay, now let me just throw this out to you. So I'm watching Fox today, and I'm watching the Outnumbered, because the women there are nothing but women on the show and one guy, and I like to see how far up their dress I can see with the camera. Okay, because they all wear dresses up to their, as my mother used to call them pupiks.
We used to call those airplane dresses.
Yeah,
but anyway, was up to the cockpit.
Yeah. But anyway, and they were arguing about Barack Obama taking this stance. Now, what will you think they would possibly argue with? I mean, I think we all agree that these social media organizations have caused a great amount of distress in this country and political polarization. I think we'll agree with all of that. What do you think they were complaining about?
Barack Obama.
Oh, of course. Barack Obama is trying to censor us. All he's saying is the trouble is that when you started these companies called social media companies, and they never existed before the modern era. They were created in a vacuum, and they opened up, and Facebook said, hey, everybody can come on and post whatever. And Twitter said, you can post whatever. And then one thing led to another. They became more and more popular, and when they hit a certain point, the danger started happening because nobody was regulating it, least of all them, because they didn't realize how big they had gotten. It's kind of like one day they say, oh, we're going to put one of these federal suits against you for infringement of whatever. And you go, why? And then all of a sudden you realize, I guess I've gotten that big as a company, that I have to watch out for this sort of thing. These people have done nothing to limit what goes across on their, or at least that the stuff that goes across is vetted in some way, shape, or form. And now there are foreign countries that are thinking of passing laws, making them have to be more responsible for what they do. So.
Yeah, but they may have put it into their fine print, but they have no way to control it.
Yeah,
that's what I think's happened. Is they can't. It's out of control.
He says that tech companies need to be more transparent on how they operate. So much of the conversation around disinformation is focused on what people post. The bigger issue is what content these platforms promote.
Yeah, and they'll tell you in the fine print, oh, you're not supposed to do this and you're not supposed to do that, and it's buried in that fine print somewhere.
Well, because that was written by,
enforce it.
Well, that's because it was written by lawyers who didn't want their client to get sued.
Correct.
You know.
And they can always fall back on that, and they'll dig it out somewhere when it comes to that point. But they don't have any way to enforce it, and it's probably impossible to enforce. They've got their teams that sit there and look for the keywords and the algorithms and all that other crap.
Well,
but
listen,
it's so overwhelming. They'd have to have buildings full of teams doing that.
Well, this this problem has been kind of solved by this new social media organization called Truth Social, that looks like they're going to just be the biggest hit around.
Yeah,
like Parler.
You know who we're talking about, don't you?
Trump, isn't it?
That's Trump's failed attempt. It's so bad and has so few people joining it and is so hard to get and make it come across on your computer that not even Trump posts on it.
Yeah.
Well, guess who was complaining about some of this stuff yesterday in hearings in Washington? That Congresswoman of note, Taylor Greene from Georgia. When some of her...
Did you see her today with her... in Georgia with her... Oh, you probably talked about this earlier.
What is it? They're trying to keep her off of the ballot or something? Or?
Yeah, political amnesia to the max.
She every answer she gave was, "I don't recall. I don't recall."
That's all I kept walking around the kitchen.
And they could show her a picture with a dog's dick in her mouth, and she'd say, "I don't recall."
Well, they ran some video and audio from her a couple of years ago, talking about what she wanted to do and how Pelosi should be executed.
Well, what she said. See, now what you're doing. See, what you're doing is one thing she complains that gets done to her, is you're paraphrasing what she said. What she said, and I heard it today. What she really wrote was that Pelosi was committing treason.
Yes.
And that the what do you call it? The penalty for treason is death. Okay. But, she wasn't saying, let's kill Pelosi. She was just saying that she thinks that she's, a traitor.
But we know what she meant.
Well, no, she says anything she thinks will get her money for she makes a lot of money. She makes a fortune off of this crap because all these little toadies who believe that she's just telling the truth, man. This woman's speaking out and putting Biden in his place and Pelosi in her place. They're all sending her money, and she's got something that's several $1 million in just contributions. And every time she opens her mouth, she gets another bunch of contributions. That's what it's all about. It's not about belief or what she really believes in.
Maybe we should be doing that with GabNet. I could use a couple of $1 million.
Well, then but you'll have to.
GabNet's not yours, so it would go to Alex.
Well, the starting place for that is you have to believe that the election was stolen. Can you start with that? Can you make a case for that?
No.
I can start with, and he rushed in and tried to overthrow the government of the United States. Send money so we can get this word out.
I was told once by somebody, I think it was here at WABC here in New York, that if I wanted to get a job there, they asked me where I stood politically, and I said, well, I'm to the left. And they said, well, our program director won't have anything to do with that. But if you can go to the right, we know your reputation, we'll give you a job. And I said, no thanks. I have to go home at night, and I have to sleep. And I have to go home and the next morning look at myself in the mirror. And if I had to do that, and I don't understand, a lot of these left-wing talk show hosts don't believe a word of what they're saying. They just don't believe it.
Well, in your case, there's some things you just can't get a old mouse to do.
What?
There are some things you can't get an old mouse to do, an old lab rat.
Oh, I'm a lab rat?
Well, we all are. Me and you.
How are we lab rats?
You were around when they invented this stuff called discussion programming.
Well,
For honesty.
Well, I'm not the first one, but there.
No,
were,
but you know.
Well, the reason I'll tell you the reason I went to talk radio was very simple. I did not like the idea as being a disc jockey that really the only talent being used on my show were the people who recorded the music. You know, I wanted to be the performer. I didn't want to just have my whole career based on the fact that I play somebody else's work.
Disc jockeys are the low end of the food chain.
Well, I mean, and plus, as time went on, at least there was a time when you were a disc jockey and you were asked to be a performer, to kind of do funny stuff and bits and things like that. And as time went on, it all became you reading off cards. That was it, you know. And there was no talent involved in it, you know. Yeah. So I couldn't do that. So I figured if I went to talk, it's pretty hard when you're doing a talk show for them to tell you how to format it, you know, and how to do it, you know. And so I went to talk, and I had all the freedom I wanted.
First job I had in radio, there was.
Let's not get into radio talk.
No.
Let's not get into radio talk.
Back when I got started, there was no playlist per se. You played what you wanted to play in the order you wanted to play it, and you said what you had to say. You tried to entertain.
Oh, excuse me.
Hey, did you see 60 Minutes last week?
Really? What? Which one?
About the EVOLs?
Oh, yeah, the
flying cars.
The flying cars.
Remember I told you last week, the week before, about the bigwigs that came in here into Hollister and bought up that flying car that we've been testing here for the last 10 years?
Is that it?
The Google car?
Oh.
That was the one.
Oh, wow.
Oh, is that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They came in here and brought $14 billion worth of cash and bought the thing and left.
I don't think we'll ever have a flying car.
Oh, watch. It's there. They bought it. Boeing bought it.
How are you going to keep people from crashing into each other?
Well, that's the whole thing. Did you watch that segment?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, go back and watch it. It's not going to be where everybody gets it. They're gonna have terminals and little. It's going to be like an Uber car.
In other words, it's going to
up on your app, and you get a ride down to the terminal, and you go to another terminal, and then they take you the rest of the way in the car, kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
But that whisk was the one that they developed right here.
Wow.
Is that the one that George Jetson uses?
Pretty much. They don't have a pilot at all in the thing.
Well, I think it would probably have to be pilotless.
I saw them testing it out here all the time.
It would have to be pilotless because you don't want irresponsible people at the wheel of that kind of thing.
Right, and the computers make less mistakes.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, eventually, cars won't have, you won't drive
It was
cars.
a big deal down here because my wife called me, and she works down at the airport, and she goes, holy shit, there's like 10 black sedans down here, and she thought that the president was coming into town. And our airport here is like a dump. It's all these broken down buildings and shit. And these Learjets pulled in, and there was like 10 of these SUVs all blacked out, and they came onto the runway, and they popped in there, and she got video of it, and they all shot across the airport and went across the other side.
Wow.
They came back, and she ended up talking to one of the guys over there, and at the other end of the airport, and one of the guys that were doing the maintenance, and they said, yeah, this company came in and bought the EVOL for $14 billion, and then that particular article.
$14 billion. Wow.
14 billion with a B.
That's a lot of money.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was Boeing.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, over near my work, they have
Google,
about
of course.
10 companies.
Google was the one that was supporting it. Google.
what were you saying, Brian?
All right.
They have over at my work. They have about 10 companies that do the self-driving, autonomous car driving. And it's like nonstop. I look out the window when I was in building one, and you can just see there's one company called Apollo, and then there's another one, and Google had theirs. And I used to take pictures all the time because it's just crazy how many even the car stuff is going on.
That's the next thing that they're putting in down here is they're trying to push in this Strata Verde, which is a proving ground. And everybody's fighting it because they think it's going to be a housing project, but it's going to be a literal proving ground, and the closest one apparently is in Spain, and they want to bring it here to test all these cars. It's like an 8-mile track, a research center, and all this shit. And people are fighting it. I'm saying, bring that damn thing here, man. It's good money.
What do you think about the driverless truck?
Driverless truck, I don't know. I don't think that's happening yet. It's there, but it's still a long ways to go.
Yeah.
You've heard me talk about that.
But if they were able to perfect it where there were very few accidents as a result of it, do you think it would be practical? Because you wouldn't have to worry about
For
fatigue.
certain things, I still can't see it hauling hazardous materials, and I've been in that business, and I can't see it hauling hazardous material. Toilet paper, rocks, not even rocks. I mean, you're talking about 80,000 pounds of shit going down the highway and having to stop.
Mm-hmm.
They can't stop the ones. Look at the one up in San Francisco that got pulled over by a cop and then took off.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
You stopped the damn thing.
Yeah. You can't stop it. It
No.
got pulled over by a cop, and then the cop walked up to it, and it took off again.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's a
What's he going to do? Start shooting it?
Here in Texas, they would.
Yeah,
It's a way to go. It's got a ways to go. It might happen, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem. It's a lot of steel and a lot of shit
fuel, wasn't he?
For it to happen. I mean,
what were you saying, Alan?
Wasn't he towing fuel?
Who's that?
The tanker that took off from the cops.
No. It was just a car.
No, it's a little car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's just a little car. It was like one of those little smart cars.
I wonder if whoever was operating it saw the cop coming and just said, "Oh, hell with it, I'm going." You know.
Yeah, there was something like that. There was some kind of after it stopped and then took off again. It was supposed to be, controlled by someone in a computer.
Who do they give the ticket to?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They asked the dummy in the front seat to get out and do a field sobriety test?
Yeah, right.
There's nobody in there. It was
Why was it getting pulled over?
I can't remember. I think it was a violation. It was a
San
traffic
Francisco,
violation.
I think in the city streets.
I thought it was a expired license plate or a sticker or something.
No, I think it was. I think he didn't do a full stop or crossed over a line or something stupid.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, what happened? I wonder what happened when they found out it was a driverless car. I mean, I don't
knew it was when he pulled it over. He knew it.
How do you pull over a car that's driverless? It doesn't know. Well,
It's supposed to recognize it, and that's my point. Is it's supposed to recognize that it's a driverless?
Okay.
He knew it was a driverless car, and the car is supposed to know it's getting pulled over. Yet it pulled over and then took off. And then the second time it pulled over, it's supposed to be taken over by someone on a computer in an office somewhere, and it's supposed to lock it down and stop, but it didn't.
I mean, if you have driverless, what's the point of having driverless, semis going across the U.S.? They're not going to lower prices and say, now we don't need employees, so we're going to lower all the prices. The prices aren't going down.
Well, how many accidents in trucks do we have every year because of fatigue?
Yeah.
That's one point, but you still got to have somebody in it if you're going to try and get around that. You could have a guy in it sitting there.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
they have cruise control?
Did you see the latest? Wait a minute. Do you see
cruise control.
tonight on the news? Tonight on the we lost Jack because he's got to go do a show. They had a thing tonight on the news where in I think it's like Sweden or someplace like that, they've come up with a whole new system of the stuff they embed in the roads, and that if you drive over it and you're like an electric car, it will charge your battery.
Oh wow! I'm going there next week. I'll check it out for you.
Yeah. So you're going.
And that's originally how they were going to run these other cars too. Is there was going to be a rail of some sort in the road, and your car would follow that. Yeah.
Like but this is literally. I don't know. No, it's not a maglev. It's not a maglev. No. It's literally it charges your batteries in the car.
Yeah.
The car has to.
How they were planning before they had the sensors and stuff that they were going to run cars down the road. They were going to put something in the road that would guide your car down the road, but then they came up with the sensors and all that shit.
Well,
my Cadillac, my CT6 has the lane adjustment, so it can read the lane, and it's on like probably 95% of the roads. You know, like these small roads, they don't have that, but definitely like on the freeway and the other major roads, they have that. So if I start drifting, it'll pull me that way. Unless I have my turn signal on, then it'll let me go through.
You know where all those started, Brian? Those started in trucks. We've had those in trucks for years.
Really?
We had them in our trucks, I'll tell you, at least 10 years ago. And what happens is you drive along the road and the seats vibrate.
Oh, yeah.
When you start drifting, all of a sudden it goes, you're going, oh, shit, I'm going to get back over here. The wheel didn't turn, but the seat would vibrate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my seat vibrates.
I wonder how many people
like doing it on purpose.
I wonder how many people just pulled over. I wonder how many people pulled over to the side of the road just to get a cheap thrill.
Oh yeah, people used to ride the lane and go ha ha ha.
You know, when it's a long drive, sometimes you know.
Yeah, but I mean,
yeah, or your radio would short out. It would make a bzzz over the radio or something like that. That was the old days when that stuff was just coming out. That's what
also we're talking about this at a time when it's hard to get truck drivers.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Well, that's what they're trying to do is make up for that. But I can't see, the stuff that I used to haul, hydrogen chloride and corrosives and all this explosive stuff going down the road with no driver in it. Hell no.
Especially,
we have to pull over every 100 miles and check our tires.
Yeah, especially like California. So we have two buildings. What? No, 9 o'clock. Bye. So we have two buildings, and we wanted to bring some sodium hydroxide, and just across from one building to the next, and yeah, there's a whole, the whole hazardous material just going from across the street. It's like crazy.
Yep, I used to permit all that stuff.
Oh boy! At times when I look at Adrian, I go, "Gee, I wish I had a kid." And then other times when I look at Adrian, I go, "I'm glad I never did." I mean,
I never say that.
Like,
huh?
I never say that.
I'd never say it either. But I'm saying that,
I never say that to her face.
I mean, there are times like that where you probably go, "Come on, leave me alone for a minute. Let me have a moment's peace."
God. I try to take a nap sometimes, and she'll come walking out, and all of a sudden, you feel something around you, and you open your eyes, and she's right there. Oh my God!
Because I recently have had these lately. Been feeling bad about the fact that I never had any kids. It's a little late in life to suddenly feel regretful about that, but. What the hell? But and then I think about, I would have liked to have kids. You're very lucky. You're very lucky that this time in your life.
Because I was partying pretty hard for a while.
Well, she is the product. She's the product
Brian,
of what you did.
I got another one going to prom tomorrow night. So.
Oh my God!
See.
I'm shining up the shotgun.
Yeah.
Well, Marjorie never had any kids. I never had any kids. We're two of the most selfish people you've ever met in your lives because we never had to make an accommodation for another person. So, what have you. Hey, listen, that's it for this week. I had fun this week, oddly enough, doing this show. I've been feeling pretty good about it. I want to thank Charlie for being here and reminding us of how many people have died as a result of COVID. They're still dying, folks. Let that be a lesson.
Going for a million.
Going for a million. Come on, you Republicans out there. Don't wear those masks. Breathe on each other. Spit on each other's food. Have a good time. And don't, by the way, don't get vaccine either, because it's got that chip in it. Right? Okay. Anyway. Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. Always appreciate you being here. Alan, thanks to you as well. Brian, I guess you're gone next week?
Next week? No, I'm here next week.
Oh, okay. And you'll probably call us. You'll probably call us from foreign countries, right?
I'm gonna try.
Okay.
Sure.
And of course, Kevin, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here tonight as well. Everybody give a big wave goodbye, and I will give a big wave goodbye at you. And then I will also push the button to turn my camera on and get rid of you guys. There we go. There they go, folks. That's our citizen panel for tonight and for the week. We'll see you again on Monday right here at 4 o'clock on Facebook, okay? for the pop-up, and then again right here on Wednesday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the Ramble on, well, YouTube, among other things. In the meantime, I want to say to all of you, have a nice weekend, and let's see here. We'll see you then next week. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye.